Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business, spending some time with a relatively new but incredibly interesting contributor to The Price of Business show, Reggie Gray. We love having him on the program. I'm getting great feedback from listeners about him. The reason why he's got such a great story, and he represents a fascinating organization. It's a Chamber of Commerce, the Intercontinental Chamber of Commerce. But let me tell you, it's not your typical Chamber of Commerce. It's not your typical neighborhood Chamber of Commerce. It's so much more than that. Reggie, you do a much better job than I do talking about what you do. Why don't you kind of give us your elevator speech as we get started, and then go right ahead and introduce your guest.
Thanks, Kevin. It's good to be with you again today.
Absolutely.
The Houston Intercontinental Chamber has been around now for about 30 years, but as you said, it used to be a community chamber in North Houston, but it is now, as of last week, in 14 countries, and we have currently 2 offices in Houston, and by the end of the summer, we will have 4. We have a North Houston and a Galleria office, but we will soon be opening the Woodlands and a Stafford office as well.
So not only do you have, just a massive footprint, as far as globally, but you're also like the one chamber that covers all of the city of Houston.
Yes, that's our point and what we've been intended to do, because one membership actually covers you in all the chambers, so it's economically a better feasibility for a company so that they can have multiple opportunities in different parts of the city, while also getting their different offices. Say if they're a bank and they have an office in each part of the city, all of their offices can participate with our chamber for one price.
Very good. Talk about your guest today. Fascinating one. I can tell already just by looking at his website.
Well, our guest today, we are very lucky to have Danilo Gutiérrez, and he is with an organization called PROESA. They are the economic development organization that drives the country of El Salvador. And it just so happens that last week, May 12th, I was in San Salvador and did the ribbon cutting to open our 14th country, our new office in San Salvador, as we have signed an agreement with PROESA a few months ago, and we're very excited about this new opportunities. But I'm going to let Daniel talk to you a little more about the organization, and then we're going to highlight some of the great industries that they have there in El Salvador.
Welcome, Daniel. Go right ahead. Give us an overview.
Thank you, Kevin. Again, my name is Danilo Gutiérrez, and I'm right now at the Consulate of El Salvador in Houston, Texas. I'm part of a program that was launched by the El Salvador government last year, January of 2014, where we are in different cities around the world, and it's called the Commercial, Economic, and Tourism Offices. And our purpose is to promote both commerce and trade between El Salvador and the different countries around the world, attract investments to El Salvador, and position El Salvador as a touristic destination.
Yes.
This program is actually executed by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and we've worked very closely with the Ministry of Economics, the Ministry of Tourism, and PROESA, which is now a partner for the ICC.
Yeah, by the way, the website is PROESA, PROESA .GOB as in boy .SV. And Samuel Victor. Go right ahead there, Reggie.
So, Daniel, if you don't mind, you and I are aware of these, but for our listeners, could you give me an example of a couple of the primary industries in El Salvador that have really been driving that economy?
Sure. El Salvador has set 7 strategic industries to which we want to promote abroad and attract investments. Those industries have been set as being the tourism industry, agro-industry, the light manufacturing, specialized textiles and apparel, which is our largest industry right now, energy, aeronautics, and offshore business services. And in order to attract these investments, El Salvador has developed a very attractive legal framework that gives incentives, but also the legal stability to foreign investors. As of now, we have actually a very important energy project for 100 megawatts of solar photovoltaic energy and 50 megawatts of wind-generated energy, which would be great for U.S. investors to seek, and we invite them to participate in the bidding process.
Yeah, it's extremely interesting to see what you've got going on. Talk a little bit, obviously working with groups like Reggie Gray's groups, what are some other vehicles that you're using to promote this?
Well, here in Houston, the ICC has been a very strategic partner, but we also work with the community here. The Salvadoran community is very large, not only in Houston, but in the U.S. overall. And we also work along with other Chamber of Commerce to kind of put El Salvador in the mind of all the business owners around Houston. But the ICC has definitely been a very strategic partner to the point, like Reggie was just mentioning earlier, to open an office as of last week in our country.
Fantastic. Reggie, we got about a minute left. Can you give your website and give us some final thoughts?
Our website is www.houstonicc.org, and we look forward to continuing to work with great countries and organizations like El Salvador and PROISA, Malta, who we've had on earlier. We have many more of our country partners coming up on the show in the future, and we look forward to the offices opening in the Woodlands and Stafford this summer.
What you're doing is fascinating, and I think the audience is loving it. And Houston is truly not only one of the most diverse cities in the country, it's also one of the most international in terms of flair and relationships and contacts. And that doesn't happen accidentally. That happens because of organizations like yours, Reggie. Keep up the great work.
Thanks, Kevin.
And thanks, Daniel, for being with us. Excellent segment. All right, when we come back, we're going to have more for you. I do want to remind you the show continues 24/7 at priceofbusiness.com. Plus, best content here does show up over there at usdatareview.com. And you're listening to The Price of Business.